Well, in this video, we are going to be attacking the Apollo. If you guys have not seen the Apollo RFN Rally Pro, go check out some of the earlier videos. I did an initial review on this, and we put it on the dyno. We tested it. We got a baseline to figure out what this bike does stock. And now we've got a treat because we're going to be upgrading this bike to do a little bit more. And that's, you know, in going with what we usually do. So the first thing we did was we reached out to the guys over at Motoclops. They are avidly doing stuff to these Apollo bikes, and I'm really interested in what they have to offer. And it's so cool to have guys out there like that that are doing this stuff. The manufacturers, they leave a lot on the table, and the aftermarket really does fill in those gaps and makes these bikes truly awesome. So what we did was we sent off the factory controller to be reflashed, because the factory software on this bike or on these bikes has a lot of limitations to it. Power wise, it doesn't put down as much power as you would expect. They rate the bike at 12 kilowatts. We measured, I think, closer to 10. We want to bump those numbers up. We want to get this thing doing what it's supposed to do. And the guys at Motoclops reflashed the factory controller, which we have right here, and that unlocks a lot on these. So this is the first step. We're going to be doing this first to see how that does. I think that's going to make this bike a lot better for everyone. I love this bike because it's bigger than the SurRon. Not much bigger, but it is bigger. But it's not full-size motocross size either. So it's a good in-betweener if you're a smaller rider, or if you don't like to, like if you're like me and you just don't want to have a big bike. This is great. So we're gonna see what the potential is for this. This has a nice size motor in it, and it has basically an upgrade motor, if you would, from what the stock SurRon would have had. So this is like a already upgraded from the factory power system. It just needs more juice. So let's go ahead. We've got this controller flashed. Motoclops already sent it back to me, so we're gonna throw this in and we'll get it on the dyno and see what it does. All right, so we've got the Apollo RFN loaded up. We have the reflashed factory controller on board, ready to go. And we're gonna make some pulls here and see exactly what kind of differences there are. And again, I wanna restate that I'm not looking for absolute power changes here. The main features that we want to access is a higher top speed, RPM, and an extended runtime in rocket mode. So typically you hit the rocket button and for 9 seconds you get a blast of extra power. So with this setup, now you get a full minute of extra power, which is plenty long to do big pulls and things like that. So the original run that we made on this showed about 10 horsepower and a top speed of around 38 to 40 miles per hour. So it was just under 40 miles per hour top speed. So we're going to test it now. This is the smaller front sprocket and then 60-tooth in the rear. So this is the lower speed setup. But for the sake of comparison, we're gonna leave it exactly as it was so that we can see the difference between those two. So let's go ahead and make a pull now and see what the power difference is in rocket mode as we tested before. So we hit rocket and then we're ready to go. Okay, so here we can see the run produced 10.9 horsepower at 59, so almost 60 miles per hour. So it's 58.7 miles per hour. That is a significant increase. Here we can see the two runs laid over on top of each other. This run dropping before 40 miles per hour. So 36, 37 miles per hour, it was done. This one holding all the way almost to 60. So huge speed upgrades. You can see that power-wise about the same though, overall. But the main thing is, again, increase in speed now, huge increase. We'll take that on the road and see what it does. But that's very impressive. For a stock bike, if you have a completely stock bike, you can have this reflash done by Motoclops, and you can increase your top speed to the limit. I mean, we went from 38 miles per hour to what's showing around 58 miles per hour. We're gonna see if we can get over 50 on the street. That's gonna be the main test under load, and see, because we were hitting that limiter fast before. So we'll go ahead and test it that way. We also have a larger front sprocket that we can test as well. So we'll throw that on as well after we do a little more testing. But I wanted to get that dyno run out of the way so you can see. If you've got a completely stock bike, consider this. Motoclops, these guys, they know what they're doing. And this is a pretty inexpensive upgrade, as you can see. If you take a look on their website, see what it's going for right now. Simple process. Send your controller out to them. A couple days later, they send it right back. Fast turnaround, and you end up with pretty big gains and maybe a cool hat. So go ahead, check it out. I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing down and see how it does on the road. All right, so we are out. We've got the Motoclops reflash on our factory controller right now, and we're gonna do a speed test. We got the GPS running, and we measured before around 38 miles per hour. That was the top speed, and it was definitely speed limited. And remember, one key feature, I'm using the smaller front sprocket. So there's two front sprockets for these. You have the smaller one and the larger one. The smaller one will be for a lower top speed and more torque. The larger one is for more top speed and less torque. But I think that with this reflash, we're probably gonna be able to maximize the speed regardless, just because we're probably not gonna top out RPM wise now, because there's no limit. So let's see, the dyno was showing around 58 miles per hour before power started dropping off. So as long as we're under 58 miles per hour, we're geared fine. Let's see, I mean, we really want to see over 50. That's going to be awesome, because 38 to 50, a 12-mile-an-hour difference in GPS, that's a huge difference with just a reflash and no change in gearing. So let's get out here on a main road and see what that really means. Here's a nice little stretch. We're going to go ahead and open it up. Here's rocket mode engaged. Here we go. So we did hit 58 miles per hour pretty easily. So I think we can re-gear it and get more speed out of this. So that's a pretty impressive test. So I didn't expect that, to be honest with you. I thought it was gonna struggle to get to that speed, but no way. We got there easily. That's a good sign. So again, the main benefits here are the 1-minute rocket mode that lasts a full minute for those big speed runs, and instant on. You don't have to hold the brake to turn it on. So, and you can see the brake sensors are not interfering with power. So if you're a wheelie guy, that's a huge deal. So you don't have to worry about cutting off. Look, I can hit the brake and it still goes. So you don't have to worry about the brake cutting off your power while you're doing a wheelie. So that, and then the increased top speed big time winner. I mean, for the money, you can't get those kind of gains any other way. Huge shout out there to Motoclops for unlocking this controller and getting that kind of performance. So now we'll go ahead, I'm gonna go for a ride, but when I get back, I'll pop that other sprocket on and we'll see what that actually means. Maybe we'll run it on the dyno again, see if it loses power to the wheel. And then we'll also do another top speed run and see what happens. Here you can see the factory sprocket on the motor. We're going to replace it with this one. So the stock one is an 11 tooth and this is a 13. So let's get this out of here. Get the new one on. Reverse thread, remember. All right, so we've got the 13 tooth front sprocket on now. And we're gonna go back out now and try and see what the top speed looks like again. 58.2 on the last, with the 11 point or 11 tooth sprocket. And we'll see how it does, because acceleration is really not much worse, honestly. It still feels plenty punchy. There you saw it, 63 and a half miles an hour. That is pretty good. So we picked up 5 miles an hour with the 13 tooth sprocket, which is great. I mean, this thing is a cruiser now, and this is again stock battery, stock controller, just reflashed by Motoclops. So 63.5, man, I'll take that every day. All right, let's get back. Okay, so we were able to do 63.5 miles per hour on the GPS. I'm super excited about that. That gets this bike into a completely different category, going from 38 miles an hour to 60 plus. So that's a huge difference. We picked up a massive amount of speed. And that makes this bike, in my opinion, roadworthy. Because now, I mean, a 60 mile an hour bike can go on the roads. You can put some Supermoto wheels and tires on this and gear it the same way, and you're going to end up with a similar result. So for a stock bike, and all we did, again, these bikes, they come with this sprocket. Some bikes have the 13, some bikes have the 11. Mine had the 11, so check yours first. But either way, to get your bike to pick up that much mile per hour with just a reflash on the controller, it's insane. So check out the guys at Motoclops. They did a great job on this, but this is not it. You guys know. You guys know. You know me. You know I'm not stopping there. You know there's more to this than there is. So Motoclops is also going to be providing me with a power upgrade, and that's going to consist of a better controller, a better battery, so that we can make this thing even faster. Who knows what this thing's going to do top speed wise. The way it is right now, 63 miles an hour plus, not bad, but what if we get, what, like 80, dare I say 80, 85 miles an hour? I think it's possible. Obviously I wouldn't do it on these knobby tires. I would probably consider, well, I mean, maybe they're okay at that point. But you know how I am. I'm a speed demon, so we might want to try and do some DOT wheels or DOT tires, and then we can maximize the setup and see what we can do. But I'm super excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. Like I said, check out Motoclops if you want to get your controller reflashed, and if you want to jump the gun and just go past me right now and get the Super Power Kit, they've got it available. One other thing too that I want to mention is, if you have one of these bikes, remember, weight is going to really play a role here. If you're a beefier rider, I'm 175 pounds. If you're a 200 plus pound rider, I would probably stick with the 11 tooth sprocket. If you're going to stay with the stock motor, stock battery, stock controller like this, it's just going to be a better, more enjoyable ride. You're not going to be pushing the bike too hard. If you're a lighter rider than me, you're probably going to go faster, which is crazy. So keep that in mind. Light rider, bigger sprocket in the front. Heavy rider, get the small boy. So stay tuned. That's coming next. And the RFN is going to be